and welcome back to Power Breakfast this morning. Of course, we are having a conversation about youth and politics, the state of the nation, as we are 89 days away from the general election. I've been joined here by some young people who have some strong opinions, and we will continue the conversation. But we have one more guest who has just joined us during the break. So I'll have you go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from.
My name is Kevin Doho. Doing my pupillage. I'm a student at the Kenya School of Law.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Karibu Sana. So you find us in the middle of a heated discussion here, so we'll just go ahead and continue. As I said before the break, curious to hear from all of you about some of the issues that you think are most affecting young people, because as we head into an election, it's issue-based, or at least we would hope that it would be issue-based. So what are some of the issues that you hope that these leaders that you're going to vote for will be addressing in the next couple of years? We'll start with you.
The biggest issue for the youth is jobs. We've seen a little bit of action when it comes to the national projects, but the youth are really in need of jobs and trying to make a living in today's Kenya, where the price of living, the cost of living is really, really high. So if we can get somebody who speaks to making a living, opening up jobs, both professional and blue-collar jobs, that can be good. Okay,
so unemployment, first on the list here. We've talked also about the cost of living in terms of food and such things. Tumeongea sana juu ya bei ya unga. We've heard of Kenyans who are crossing the border, going into Uganda to stock up on unga. And you know, the economy, I don't think is ever where we really want it to be. But at this point in time, do you actually feel it in your day-to-day life? The cost of living, do you feel it?
Yeah.
In which ways?
Okay, for example, if you have your own house and you are maybe like you are a youth who is trying to like reach the standards of living that you want to reach, you have to feel it, because like a lot of my friends nowadays are like, we've complained about unga, hata tumechoka complain about unga, tutakuwa tuchukula mchele na hiyo chapati wanataka tuku. So life is becoming more harder, especially for the youth, because number one, if you talk to many of the youth, they tell you they don't even save. Many youths, they earn from the hands to the mouth. So when the economy is tight the way it is currently, a lot of youths are losing hope, and they are like, sasa mali imefika, we will join the campaign teams, because at least for the campaign team you'll make noise the whole day. In the evening someone gets 200 bob, he goes to a hotel, take a meal of 100 bob, he goes sleep. Tomorrow morning again he does the same thing. So the living standard is really affecting the youth.
So the decisions you're making are just a day-to-day, how do I survive type of decision.
That's what the youths are doing, because number one, the way he was saying, youths are never empowered. At some point I will sit down and I say, youths don't need jobs, they need to work. But there is no one to teach the youths how to work. If you talk to our parents today, they'll tell you, go to school, graduate, look for a job. Our parents never tell us you need to work. The only thing they tell us, you need a job. Yeah? I was walking around town yesterday evening, and I was trying to think like, Nairobi, we have so many work opportunities, not job opportunities, but work opportunities. I was thinking of like, it's just an idea, like what if the members of parliament today pass a bill like, if you are seen walking in town with dirty shoes, you get arrested. When they pass that bill and they say in each and every corner of town there must be a shoe shiner, you see, that one you've employed youths who have not graduated from campuses. Watu wa mkono, they call them watu wa mkono. How many do you think you can employ in town?
Okay.
Then you say, according to the Traffic Act, you're not supposed to drive a dirty car. Now implement that law and make it start working. Then you say, you pass a bill like, after every 10 kilometers or 20 kilometers, there must be a car wash along the highways. How many youths do you think you're going to employ there?
Okay. Yeah. So away from unemployment, what other issues do you think most affect you and will most, be on your mind as you're casting your vote in August?
I believe that when we are talking about youth, we are looking at the whole country.
No.
And the other time I was in Garissa, and those people are not going to school.
No.
Trust me, you'll talk about job opportunities for the youth, for the people who have not gone to school. I met a very someone between a child between 13 to 15, and I asked him, "Uko class?" Then he go class 2. It means it's not because the others were laughing at him.
Yeah.
The others we went there for the last week. That's why laughing, meaning they know he's not going to school. And actually, the person we went with was also coming from Nairobi, and is from Garissa. I told us that what we can do, we should not even go with food donation right now. We come with a project.
Yeah.
Of even trying to empower them now through education, some basic education, because they've not gone to school. So how will you employ someone who has not gone to school?
Okay, so education also ranking high on that list. Anything else?
And I also think about the allocation of the entrepreneurship funds. Many youths find it difficult in the application process, because from the moment you start applying, you take to this office, they tell you go to that office. So I think the system should be streamlined in such a way that many youths have great ideas. These ideas are not only for the education sector or for employment sector. Some even have good ideas for the health sector. But because they're not given a chance to be heard, or if you have a project, someone wants to take it and use it on their name, yet you're the one who generated the idea.
And you bring up a very, very valid point. Do you feel that the government has created credible programs for development and to aid in unemployment? You know, when you talk about youth fund and other programs like this, do you feel that they are actually credible and that they are helping young people out there?
I'd say they're trying, but they're falling way short. What I'd say is that there lacks youth vision in this country. We do not know what the political class has in mind when it thinks of our youth. We are looking at somebody who's moving from their parents' house, maybe into a marriage, or moving out into the world, into a career. What does it entail moving from youth, young adult to full adult? So either it's education, either it's jobs, either it's entrepreneurship. We have a lack of a charismatic expression of what that vision is. And that inspiration, sometimes you find, if you're lucky, you'd be able to get it in an internship opportunity. In the legal profession right now, I'm experiencing pupillage, where you get to see the successful lawyers, how they are able to navigate the world. But so many youth are not able to see the vision, see the dream. So at the end of the day, I'd summarize it as there lacks a Kenyan dream. What is it? That's what I'd say.
Well, there are young leaders who have come out this time around to go ahead and contest for your vote, young people. So Jaguar got got his party nomination recently. What do you think about that crop of, you know, the Boniface, Mwangi, Steve Mbogo? Do you have hope in their vision? Because you talked about there not being a youthful vision. Do you have hope in their vision?
For me, I can say people like Jaguar, Mbogo, okay, they are good to vie, but I always say, if today I want to replace Steve, I need to know, where did Steve fail? What are the failures of Steve? What are the successes of Steve? Then from there, I can now come with my ideas, like, he failed in this and this, I can do this better through doing this and this. But for me, one thing I don't like with them is that you just come and you say, it's time for youth, you see, that you won't solve our problems.
No vision.
You not knowing, you not having a vision, you won't solve anything.
Just
by the end of the day,
young doesn't mean
it
that
doesn't
you're
mean that you can
progressing.
be our leader. You need to understand us. What are our problems? And then one thing I like and I don't like with Akina Jaguar is, yes, they at some point they think they know our problems, but they don't know our problems as a youth. For example, the other day, the Senator of Nairobi, Mike Sonko, was on TV, and he was being asked, like, how are you planning to solve the problems of Nairobians? And he was like, number one is traffic. How will you solve traffic? I will build a 13-story building for parking. We don't have a problem with parking. We have a problem with traffic. Building the story building does not mean you'll solve our traffic problem. Yeah. So I think, yes, they want to be leaders, they want to lead the youth, they want to be example to the youth, but they don't understand the problem of the youth. Yeah? You need to go down, meet the youth, let the youth tell you their problems. Don't come with your own conclusion, or don't get words from the old people that you want to solve. And then another thing that I always say with them is that they don't understand that the generation has changed. Our current youth's needs are not the same as the youth for 1990s, 1980s. They are two different needs. You need to understand our current youth. If you look at visions of many of these leaders, they go read Tom Mboya's book, The Vision of Tom Mboya, which was very good. They come with that. This is what we want to do. They don't understand. The vision was good, but maybe it was a long time ago. Those are not our current needs. So one thing I always say with them, they need first to understand. I want to remove this person that I call old. What are the failures of this old person?
Okay, does anyone else, does anyone feel hopeful about the youth for?
I think I feel so hopeful because for a long time, the representation of the youths in the parliament or whatever, it's been so minimal. But at least right now, the number of young people who've been given nomination certificates, and we hope they eventually get into the various houses, I believe they're going to have a lot of impact, because number one, now they're going to address the issues affecting the young people in the house, and you know the house is the one that controls everything in the country. So for me, I believe, in as much as they're trying to say, oh, they don't understand, but you know, majority of them, they've passed through the system that you've also passed through, and they understand a lot. And some of them, they've just got there because of the struggle and the belief they had, because they knew if we don't struggle, if all the youths we stay, then there is no hope. But because they struggled and passed through the system and they're somewhere, I believe they understand the problems. Maybe we can say, maybe because we have different views, maybe I think it's all about perspective, and it's all about how you feel, but by the end of the day, there's hope.
Well, other than the fact that there are these young leaders, there are also these populist leaders who kind of just, the masses gather towards them, the Sonkos, Babayao, you know. Just Jaguar also himself is, I think I would put him in that category. What does that say about young people that, you know, we kind of flock towards these guys who are promising us big and that the masses like? We're looking at them like they're celebrities. What does that say about the youth?
That's why I can say here that actually we've not gone for the ideas and for the vision we are talking about. Even the youths who come in, they don't have ideas.
Yeah.
I can tell you that someone in the village, somewhere in Pokot, has an idea and it has not been identified. The other time we saw someone constructing a dam to collect water. You see, there's an idea. It should be empowered. Some years ago, there's a boy who made a helicopter in Kikuyu. Yeah. Where are they? But you cannot come someone who has gone in Nairobi, a cool kid somewhere, who is also just fulfilling the agenda of the old. Yeah. Because that's the people they have interacted with, and maybe they are even financed by these people.
So you've given us a new term, the cool kids. Yeah. Calling them populist leaders, youth leaders, cool kids. What are your thoughts about what that says about the representation of young people and what they're looking for in a leader?
What I'd say is populism is something that is gripping the world. We've had Trump, we've had Le Pen. It's like a bug in the air. Right now we are having cooks and drivers being elected into MCA positions, and it's unfortunate because they do not have what it takes to grapple with the very difficult things that have to be done. Right now, I think everything is going down because of corruption, and once you're corrupt, you can't have a vision. So if we have those problems, the populist leaders are the ones who come out and give us something to talk about, something. It's like they're speaking to our hearts. So maybe we'd have to choose between our hearts and our heads. Unfortunately, we are choosing with our hearts. Yeah. So
just looking towards the future, I mean, and we have to imagine what a parliament would look like with the Babu Owinos and and all of them in parliament. Do you feel like there's real change that will be accomplished then? Sort of, if we can just envision that for a second.
The only change that we will see is the simple issues that can be done, the low-hanging fruit. But the difficult, back-breaking work that needs to be done, that one I don't think the youth will be able to accomplish. When they get to parliament, the first thing that will happen is that they will be hoodwinked by these standing orders, these ways of doing things. Even Trump himself was complaining that he's going through the rules and finding that he has to make deals that he doesn't want to make. However, these people who are getting to parliament for the first time, they might need to be educated, maybe consult a lawyer or a political strategist to be able to accomplish what they need to accomplish. Yeah.
So we were talking earlier about youth being excluded from decision-making processes, politically or otherwise. And this is a very dynamic generation. You guys are passionate, you guys are tech-savvy, you have all of that going for you. So where does the journey to inclusion begin? If it doesn't begin with these young leaders, well, maybe you think it does, but if it doesn't begin there, where does the journey to inclusion of youth in power begin?
Inclusion in power, I think it's not something new. When we were independent, we had Kibaki and Tom Mboya, very young, under 30 kind of guys already in power. What we might need is maybe a reimagination of independence. Are we still independent? The leadership needs to at least listen to the youth, but most of what needs to happen is it needs to give the youth space to do something. So inclusion it's a concept, yes, but to make it work, you have to have people who want to support the youth, people who want to mentor them, actively looking to bring up the next generation, the Joshua generation. Maybe borrow from the Bible what Moses did with Joshua. Bring up people whom are patriotic, people whom love the country, and be able to give them tasks to do, simple tasks at the beginning, but increase them. Maybe the Ministry of Sports, Ministry of Culture, then if they prove themselves in those ministries which are a bit simpler to do, move them on to maybe finance and the serious ministries like defense, so that at least we have this reformist kind of outlook.
Okay, so do you feel that this is the election where all of this is going to change? Because I think young people do feel like there's an election that's going to happen and turn things around, where we're going to move away from ethnicized politics and we're going to just be who we are, young, passionate and educated people. Is this the election with 89 days to go?
It can be this one, or it can be another one which is coming.
We are not hopeful on it.
Since the election is coming, and we are very hopeful, we'll give it a shot. If it doesn't, but there's a revolution which will come. I'm hopeful that one day there's something will happen. It can be this one, yeah, or it can be another one. So long as we are still voting and our generation is still coming up, at the same way, in the current constitution, we say that when it was promulgated in 2010. We do not make a rigid constitution. It's a living constitution, that things have to be realized progressively. Look at even the women representation in the parliament. It has not been achieved. So it means things are moving progressively. So if you talk about that, the youth, all of us, I want to be a president and I want to be now.
It can't happen.
It can't happen. We have to come progressively, educate ourselves, influence ourselves, and just get awareness.
And be patient with the process.
And be patient with the process.
Yeah.
The system takes time to change. Yes.
I want to just go around here because we're just winding up now, and have all of you speak to your peers who are watching and maybe weren't planning on going to vote, aren't really feeling like their vote is going to count, aren't really feeling like things are going to change, and maybe aren't in the mood to be patient at this point in time. Maybe you can just speak to those people watching and share your final comments. We'll start on that end.
Which camera? This one?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, to my fellow youths out there, it's our time. Let's vote. Your vote counts. Whether they tell you it will never count, whether they say it will count, but your vote counts. But the biggest of all, the change that we are dreaming of starts with me. It starts with me and you. Then it will go round up to the top. Yeah? A tree starts growing from the roots, going up to the stem, to the branches, and then to the leaves, and finally to the fruits. It never grows from the fruits coming back to the roots. And the roots is us, the youths. We are the ones to determine how the tree will grow and the types of the fruits that the tree will produce. So it's our time. And the way they say in politics, ni sasa, na kama si sasa.
All right, Vigilant?
To my fellow youths out there, this is the time that we need to change the system that we've been crying for. So just to encourage all of us, let us not be influenced or be used by the politicians who have already been there. Don't be a victim of tribalism. Don't be a victim of violence. Let's preach peace and just go and vote, because that one vote will always make a difference. And if you want to change the system, this is the time, because the youth have the numbers. The only thing we need to do is to take action.
Okay, thank you very much, Steve.
Youth never say you are not political.
Just look at this camera here.
This one. Never say you are not
That one.
political. Everything we do is political. Today in the morning I was looking at the price of unga in Nyeri. Was it unga? Unga. It goes at 400 shillings, and the same goes at 400 at the same price goes at maybe the higher price in Mombasa and in Kitui somewhere, or in Kisumu. So let's not suffer from the Stockholm syndrome where we follow people blindly. And let's not also talk about our own, because there's nothing like our own with unga and with rice. So make decisions based on what you feel as an independent individual, not as someone who is following a particular person. That's what the message I have. And I would like to wish my friend a happy birthday, Michael Wanyama. Have a happy birthday. Enjoy your birthday today.
Okay, thank you very much. Lastly,
there's so much that is going on in the world, and it seems that the older generation is going ahead to accomplish dreams of yesterday. Choose somebody who has a vision that is alive, youthful, and will change the face of Kenya. Choose somebody with a vision. Don't go with your heart, go with your head.
okay. I want to thank you all for being here and expressing your very candid opinions on the state of the nation. That has been a youthful perspective of the current state of the nation as we head into the August elections. So, of course, Power Breakfast is about to wind up here. We're going to have some music from Wakati Band before we do that, but do stay tuned to Citizen TV Cheche, coming up with Udwak Mimo Muteginjao and Charles Odziambo right after Power Breakfast is through. I will see you back here tomorrow morning for more Power Breakfast, but for now, here is Wakati Band.